How are you getting to the point of determining who is going to play and when?
Well, we're going to play by committee for sure. But the nice thing is right now some of these young guys that have improved in the last year here are really, they've just taken their game to a different level right now. So really encouraging to see. I think our pass rush on every down, even our there's a difference between a third down pass rush and a first and second down transition pass rush, where we got to think run first and then transition to get in the backfield from a run mentality to a pass mentality. And that has been really encouraging, of just the urgency those guys can transition from run to flip their hips and go attack the quarterback. That's been really encouraging.
What have you seen from Cam Jones and Thomas Allen that kind of stands out to you so far?
Well, so Cam, his athleticism just shows out wherever he is on the field, and we made no bones about it. He's a great football player. He's a great athlete, right? So it's our job to make sure we get him in the right matchups to maximize his full skill set. Thomas is the guy that can do everything right. He's a great communicator on the field. He's not as talented as Cam Jones, but he makes plays in a very different way, right? And so for him, he's the one that's a great communicator. He knows exactly where to go, exactly where to put his eyes are. And again, that's where you have a great linebacking core, is you have different types of playmakers and guys that steady the defense, right? And that we've got a nice blend of guys right now. So.
How is Raekwon Jones evolving, or has evolved as a leader?
So his football play has just continued to get better and better and better. He is executing at a very high level right now, but where Raekwon, you've seen a transformation from anything I've really seen in the past of him, is just as his leadership, his vocal leadership on the field, right? And when you had T. Gray Scales and guys like that in the past, that was not required of him, right? He just had to go out there and do his job. Now he's doing it at a very high level where he feels confident about those things. And so I think he sees that growth within himself, and he sees that growth within those younger players, so he's trying to help them along.
He said that some of what he had to go through last year with the hurricane kind of brought it out of him. Did you kind of notice that? Or
100%. I mean, Quan and I are pretty close, as I am with a lot of the players, but obviously being an older guy, this being his last run, there's just, there's a special bond there, right, between a coach and a player that's in his senior year. You understand what they're going through. Quan wears things heavy on his shoulder. So you're going to know, what he's feeling. The thing that we've talked about is just communicating that, talking that through, because, he's one of those now, he carries the weight on his shoulders. He tries to take it all sometimes, and he's done a great job of just kind of communicating that. And again, it's opened him up to be a better leader.
Several guys last year got to take advantage of playing 4 games without burning a year of eligibility. How critical is that going to be for you guys this year, showing up at D-line?
For a developmental program, right, that's a huge asset to us, right, to be able to play 4 games versus to play 4 scout team games, right? So for us, being able to develop those guys, to just give them a taste, right, even if it's on special teams, okay, to be able to see what that live look is like, and then transition that to springtime. And I'm telling you now, the biggest transition we see with players is their freshman year, right, spring to fall camp. What they do, they see it in spring, because a lot of those guys, they get their first real live reps in the springtime and then transition into fall camp.
I was your dad's here. I see yesterday that you had a conversation with him saying, "Don't coach." Do you remember that when you sat down? You told him, "I really want to do this."
I do. I had a very strong passion from a very early age that I wanted to the point to where, I obviously wasn't a great football player. I did about everything right, but probably didn't belong to. I shouldn't have played probably at the University of Arkansas or Southern Miss. I wasn't that talented. But for me, when I graduated high school, I thought, hey, 4 more years until I get to do what I really want, which is to coach football. So he had an uphill battle convincing me not to do this. Again, seeing him do it every day, see him champion a family and champion a group of young men as a defensive coordinator. I dreamed about that, right? And so being able to live out my dream on a daily basis with the influences and basically example that he was able to set for me is pretty great.
You mentioned pearls of wisdom from him here the last couple of days.
I really, so he's pretty headsy. He's definitely a wise soul, because he kind of hangs back. He asks a bunch of questions so far, but the comments are coming. I know they're coming, right? So, and I want them. Tom and I think that's what has made us great defensive minds, is that we're open to new ideas. And frankly, a lot of that came from him, because he was always open to, hey, what's Bud Foster doing? What's Gary Patterson doing right now? And they had that open dialogue, and so there were things we always adjusted and changed within the system every year.
Were there specific things that you learned from him in terms of, you know, how to game plan, how to like make sure the details were right? I mean, what about his, you know, approach that you really absorb?
So it's interesting. I mean, obviously schematically, we just learned this. I learned the system from him, right? And then when it came to a matter of game plan, I think the thing I probably took away from him is his organization and efficiency, right? Very organized, knew exactly what we needed to do at that time, and was very efficient about it. You know, he's very businesslike when it comes to that, okay? But where we've transitioned is the way he called the game up in the box, right? And versus me calling the game on the sideline and I'm the signaler. Some of those things have evolved a little bit over the years just because of what you see with tempo offenses, the communication on the field with the players. And I like to call things a little bit more based off the picture that I see as opposed to just waiting for personnel and getting a call out there. So organization efficiency would probably be the number one answer.
You've been satisfied with the communication of the defense in camp, or how do you evaluate it?
Pretty high level right now. So communication's been phenomenal. We just, especially for a young group of guys, some older guys, they're all just, I mean, they're loud, they're vocal out there, they're communicating. What we have to make sure we're doing is coming out with a sense of urgency. Thought we've done that fairly well to this point. Was disappointed in the way we came out in team run play action pass today. Thought the offense had a look in their eye that they were going to come out and get us, and thought they did some of those things. They got some great concepts in. Kalen is fun to work with as a coordinator because he throws so many good things at you that challenge your eyes, challenge your alignments, that now you have to go fix a bunch of stuff now, as opposed to waiting into game 3 and 4 that you go, oh, well, I didn't see that in fall camp, now I got to fix it. So so that was, I mean, it's good stuff. It's great to see.
What have you liked from Micah McFadden so far in fall camp?
Mike has taken his game from just an athlete that knows how to go find the football and make plays. I think I made the comment to you guys before, Micah McFadden made plays last season that he didn't know what the defensive call was, to now the way he communicates and get people lined up right now is, I mean, it's light years from where he was before. On top of that, he happens to be a phenomenal athlete.
Your dad said he's crossing like 108 pass or something like that.
Yeah. Not even close, right? But not even close. But again, he's got the time on his hands to do those things right now. You know, my grandfather owned a marina growing up on Table Rock Lake in Branson, Missouri, and so it's where Bass Pro Shop originated. So right, we grew up around the lake, but simple when it comes to fishing and hunting and all that, you kind of sacrifice those things as a football coach. So
you had mentioned it once before, but your dad had mentioned it again yesterday about how important it was when you were GA of being in a position involved in a position.
Yeah.
Coach role too. How much of that at such a young age has helped you be where you are now at 32 years old?
Two things that probably helped me best, right, to get to my point at maybe a younger age, and I do feel blessed to be probably ahead of the game, but coaching on the offensive side of the ball for the first 2 years. I was an offensive line graduate assistant, and then I coached the quarterbacks at UT Martin. Jason Simpson gave me that job. He never should have given me that job. It's the worst quarterbacks coach in the country, but I learned a lot. The number two thing was having a defensive coordinator that treated his graduate assistants like full-time coaches, right? So he allowed me to coach a position, but more than that, the way he treated us in the room, the game planning. You know, he had 5 graduate assistants at his time at Ole Miss. Myself, Trey Scott, who's the defensive line coach at Georgia, Cam Robinson, who's the linebacker coach at Florida now at 28 years old, and DeMarcus Covington at 27 is the linebacker coach for the New England Patriots. So, you know, I mean, I think it speaks for you. Not that those guys, right, were necessarily elite. They were great coaches on their own, but when you're given that, right, that ownership to come and help in game plan and all that stuff, it just, when the opportunities come, I felt like we were ready, you know.